a medical marijuana recommendation like I did, do what I did. CanacareDocs.com. Compassionate, compliant, and confidential. Go where I went, Mike Can, to get my medical recommendation in Massachusetts. CanacareDocs.com. If you're suffering like I am from back pain, or maybe you have MS, post-traumatic stress, seizures, AIDS, cancer, glaucoma. If you're suffering from pain like I am daily, call CanacareDocs.com. It's a much safer way to go. No opiates. You want medical legal cannabis? CanacareDocs.com. Convenient. 9 Massachusetts locations. Peabody, Quincy, Waltham, Brockton, Stoughton, South Dennis, Cape Cod, Fall River, and Worcester. Also, I forgot, Seekonk. Also in the states of Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maine, and coming soon to New Hampshire and New York. It's CanacareDocs.com. Get your medical recommendation. Get legal. CanacareDocs.com.
Well, welcome to the Young Jerks. My name is Mike Crawford, the host. Very happy today. All about the present. Well, I reflect on the past a little bit, but mostly about the present today. And we're happy here at the Young Jerks, definitely, about what's just happening in Massachusetts in general. You know, just politically and cannabis-wise, even though always been a critic in a lot of respects and a naysayer, but I'm happy. I'm at a happy spot personally, and with a lot of things that we've been working on, just reflecting back and seeing where we're at right now. Happy about this show as well today, and upcoming shows and the station as well. So I guess I'm just giving Thanksgiving on a non-Thanksgiving day to everyone, all the listeners, supporters, sponsors, everyone that's been here as a guest on the show, all the politicians especially. Bob Lobel, some of the other folks, but we have some big guests here as well today, so I'll get right into it. Richio is here. Got here a little late, a little frazzled.
I am.
But you're here.
I am.
You're on, Mike. What's up, bro?
Buddy.
What's up, my man?
Nothing. Good day. Beautiful day.
You're not even my pit bull today. You're my man.
No, I'm plus I'm not medicated, so.
You're not?
No.
Oh, we're going to have to fix that. There's lots of samples going around. I think there's a sample bag for you.
I did. I got it already.
Are you hooked up then?
Yes.
You're going to be medicated very soon.
Oh, yeah. Within minutes.
Within minutes. As soon as the show ends?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So if you get anything wrong today, any demerits, you're just going to blame it on that you're not medicated.
Exactly. I perform worse when I'm straight.
That's actually good. We may have to take off demerits because I like that rationale.
Well,
that it's because of the cannabis you're not doing things correctly, not the other way around where people want to use it as a crutch and say, oh, it's because I was using cannabis I didn't. No. It's because I don't have it.
Exactly.
And I'm not doing well.
Exactly.
All right, good. I like that.
Exactly.
You may not get any demerits today. We're going to be perfect today. We're not going to criticize it. We're going to be very nice. We've been saying we try to be nice, even though sometimes I retreat on that. But are we going to be nice?
I am your whipping boy always.
We can't say any mean things about people because they might get upset. We can say mean things about each other, though. We're good on that, right?
You say mean things about me all day.
You do, too.
Filled with love and grace.
You do, too. On
Julie's
Facebook,
right here, so
you called me something, a name this week.
I called you a dick.
Yeah, it was true.
Wow.
All right, we're the Young Jerks. Brian Riccio is here. Mike Crawford. Got a full studio of people laughing along at our hijinks. Let's get to the guests. Number one, we have Judy and Chief back.
Hey.
Sharing a mic. It's hot in here.
Yes, it's hot in here.
No problem.
I think we can handle it with you two sharing a mic. We can still hear you.
We'll be all right.
No worries.
Even the backup mic. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys know your voice always comes through Judy, especially.
Is that good?
Yes. Don't you think so?
Well, yeah, that's great. It's
You
nice
have a
to
tool.
see
You have a gift.
Well, thank you, Mike. I feel the same way about you.
I think sometimes, yes. Some of the things. I think it's also to life experience. You've been through a lot.
Yes.
So.
More than my fair share. But who's counting?
Right.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that too.
Still here.
That's right.
Still standing.
Still here.
Still here.
Still here.
And today I was driving by a place that I never thought about, like a loss, something bad happened there. I kind of when I was younger, love and bad moment at a let's say this, a girlfriend's sister's wedding, where the relationship was over, and it was me. It was my fault, but it was, it was like back then when I was young, I thought it was like the end of the world. And what I didn't realize is that negative, bad experience was, thank God it happened. It was my beginning of my world. There was a reason it was happening.
Yes.
But I didn't know that at that time. And I think that's so much what I will tell youth and people who are in even any tough times. Just hold on. You never know how things are going to change and how things will turn out. Some of the things that happened to me personally the last couple of years, I never would have expected. So, and I've been there. We're talking today about some of the losses. Anthony Bourdain, obviously. So just sometimes it's just survival. Hold on. Yep. Just make it to the next day. Find someone to talk to that will make you want to hold on for that next day. That is important too as well. So we're going to get deep, but we're also going to get into our guest too, right, Judy?
Yes.
You got me always.
Well, it makes sense.
Right.
And people need to know that you have a big, huge heart.
I try.
You don't have to try. It's okay.
Sometimes it's tough, though. Sometimes I get in a different mode, We
all do. We all do.
Yeah, so...
It's okay.
Yeah, it is, hopefully. So we're going to get to our guest today. We have Jessica Edwards here.
Hello.
Welcome. You're from Cape Cod, right?
Yes.
And you're what I'll say, medical cannabis advocate, educator, practitioner.
Yes.
Is that correct?
All of the above.
How else would you explain yourself and your role in with cannabis?
Trying to adjust to the ever-changing landscape in the state of Massachusetts. That's a full-time job. Everything is, always up in the air, changing regulations, moratoriums, waiting endlessly for dispensaries to open. We finally got one on Cape now.
Where is it?
Mashpee.
It's open? Wow, that's big. Do you feel like there's finally a ray of hope in Cape Cod, maybe?
I'm saving my rays of hope for when the dispensary prices come down to manageable levels.
Right, because one doesn't cut it.
No.
One on the North Shore hasn't cut it. And thank God we have Healthy Farms back open. We have 2 now on the North Shore that I know of, but competition will definitely help, hopefully. So we've had you on the show before to talk about some of the things that are going on with, the caregiver and the delivery services and the lack of dispensaries and why it was so important in Cape Cod to have those things. That continues to be so, I'm sure, with just one dispensary open in Cape Cod. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're, really stuck out on there, especially at this time of year with the traffic on the bridges. Nobody wants to go over the bridges. But, the Cape is pretty spread out between P-Town and Falmouth. If you're in Hyannis, you don't want to have to go to P-Town or Falmouth. And if you're at either one of them, you don't want to have to come to the Mid-Cape.
Right.
So people use a lot of delivery services, and the gray and black markets are thriving. Oh. And at this point, I have to think that the towns have a vested interest in keeping those black markets thriving, because they keep voting against regulation and businesses coming into the towns. We've only got a few towns down there that are falling in line.
Which towns are cool on cannabis on the Cape right now?
Right now we have Bourne, Brewster, Truro, I believe Wellfleet, and P-Town.
P-Town, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's always you have noticed, too, when you say the list of the towns, it's like the towns are actually a little bit nicer than the other towns that are against it.
Yes.
Well, Barnstable didn't do a full moratorium. They're actually doing a real information gathering. Like, they're really going, to try to do this the right way. But a lot of them, especially Chatham, got just a full moratorium, then went to a ban. They did it at the town meeting, and everybody was against it, and, it's going to ruin the Cape, and it's hysterical because they have bumper stickers for Chatham. And these bumper stickers say that Chatham is a quaint drinking village with a small fishing problem.
Wow.
Right.
That's their actual, unofficial motto.
And cannabis is the problem.
Yeah, and
I'm
they
sure
are
that
all on
and
these,
opiates is
Wow.
a huge problem on the Cape. We know that.
yeah.
Still?
Huge problem. Yeah, we stopped at a Cumberland Farms on the way up here, and there's a needle safe dispensary in the bathroom.
And I thought also
There's a Sharps
In Hyannis?
dispenser in our bathroom.
In Hyannis. Wow, it's still bad.
I also think there's a depression too, like that always comes around beach areas too, like Cape Cod especially, like where you have this seasonal influx of people there in the summer.
Yep.
And then you have a different feeling in the winter, and the jobs just aren't there for people who are born there, raised there, and so they either have to, a lot of the best, brightest minds move out of the Cape and back to cities like Boston or New York or wherever they move to work. But what's left behind are either teachers, town workers, maybe some dog walkers, but it's mostly people who maybe aren't working or in the drug trade or working minimum wage jobs, and that's all that's there. There's no real opportunity on Cape Cod for a lot of these second, third generation kids. So
We have a lot of retail
cannabis
jobs.
would be just a great it would help Cape Cod. I'm convinced of it. You are too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if it helped to cut down on all of the people that were drinking, if they had, something else, because the alcoholism on Cape Cod is rampant. The drunk driving is rampant. And everybody's up in arms about cannabis. And especially in the town I live in, Yarmouth, the Yarmouth Police Department is super serious about it. And they're one of the hardest oppositions to it. But they constantly have town-sponsored events with drinking, and they provide cab rides home. And, they're fine with the beer gardens and the beer crawls and the trolley because it's quaint. But, you can't hit your vape pen on the beach.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was surprised when I read about that beer crawl. I had no idea.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And they set it up between the police department and the taxis to get you home because they anticipate you falling down drunk.
Wow. And I mean, police know this too. People don't just die from car accidents being drunk. Sometimes they fall from falling downstairs. It often happens to drunks falling down.
All kinds of things happen to them.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
People die unconscious. Fall in the snow, pass out in the snow.
Some people get assaulted.
Right. All kinds of things happen with alcohol. Crazy. We also have another guest here. We have two Eds. Ed D'Souza. He's got a business up in Newburyport. Are you a Newburyport citizen as well?
No, I'm not.
Where do you live?
I live in North Reading.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're bringing back all my high school memories because those are both Cape Ann League opponents of mine in several sports, especially wrestling. No, actually, Newburyport was a big rival, but they didn't have a wrestling team, which is funny. But in football and hockey, they were like our huge rivals. I know Amesbury was Newburyport's rival on Thanksgiving Day game, and Pawtucket was my rival in Triton for a lot of things going on. But these are towns that I know that I grew up in. North Reading, we wrestled a lot of high school matches against them. So you live in North Reading, and you have a business now in Newburyport that has gotten approval from the city of Newburyport so far. A non-opposition letter?
Non-opposition, yes. In order to go for our complete license with the CCC, we have to find a host town. And part of that is, discovering the location and the town politics in order to get in. A lot of people misrepresent where they have to start. We had to start with the planning board and get a zone for cannabis. So a lot of our fight from November of last year up until a couple of weeks ago was to get them to expand a zone. Newburyport was one of those towns that didn't act when the moratoriums were hitting the state like a tidal wave. So it was one of the reasons why we targeted the town. So we're moving along.
That's awesome. Newburyport. I know Newburyport. I know folks who were teachers and police officers and high school quarterback football stars who got in trouble later, who shouldn't have gotten in trouble, and people I like, but good people. But it's amazing. I never would have. Well, I guess I should have expected it that Newburyport would be cool on cannabis to have, given you the opportunity to open there. One of the first.
It was a fight.
Yeah, it was a fight, right?
It was a fight. There was the location where we are establishing supposedly had an association that was against cannabis going into the park.
A neighborhood group?
Yeah, it was. Well, you know what? It was a small group. They said they were representing the entire park, but when the other business owners were informed of a meeting, they were never invited. So it was almost like, let's invite the people that are going to be against cannabis and forget about the people that are for it or for the extra business coming into the municipality.
Mm. And so now you're a micro business. You're going to be growing cannabis.
Correct.
And where are you going to? You have a location picked out? Are you going to be in the industrial park in Newburyport? Where are you going to be?
Yeah, we have a location. Obviously, we don't want to, for security reasons, say where we're going to be.
Give me an idea where? Like around?
Industrial
Scotland
Park.
Yard? Okay, Scotland
Industrial
Yard.
Park,
It's
yes.
where I used to ride my bicycle as a teen to go up to either downtown Newburyport or up to the Shaw's Plaza to push carts and bag groceries. Right? And is it going to be close? Obviously, it will be close to the Massachusetts State Police Barracks up there, which is going to be interesting too, right?
Well, we look at it as an advantage. I mean, who's going to go ahead and mess with an organization that is next to where the state police are?
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Sense.
It does make sense.
hey, Mike, if you don't mind, I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
We're talking about what you wanted to label people working in the cannabis industry right now, and I got to say the one word that you forgot was warriors. there are warriors sitting at this table right now. And more so, we're coming on a year from when Mickey Martin passed. I say we bring back my name is Zed, I like weed, I'm a good person. And not only tell the people that we know, but to tell the people that we don't know,
Yes.
because those are the fringe people that are going to be helping us get rid of the stigma.
I agree.
Right. I think that's a good thing. It's funny to me how many people that I knew growing up now come to me on this issue and be like, "Oh, I know you're cool on cannabis. I have some questions for you because grandma's sick or mom,
Yeah.
People you'd never expect. 617-903-7464 is our phone number. We have a lot of people in the studio. Number one, Ed D'Souza from RiverRun?
RiverRun Gardens.
RiverRun Gardens in Newburyport, Massachusetts. It's going to be set up in the industrial zone there. You know where I'm talking about, off of Scotland Road, Graff Road, where we used to play hockey, skated as well. The Graff Rink is close by, that area. Kind of near where the old beef corral was. That was our place to hang out. But now I think it's Courtyard Beef. I don't know. I haven't been up there in a while. So, but Ed, you got this far. So you're looking to open as a cannabis business in Massachusetts. You got so far the local approval of the city of Newburyport, but now you need a host agreement. Is that correct?
That's correct, and that's one of the things we're currently negotiating.
Is that going to be difficult, do you think? Are they going to ask for too much money? You're a small business. Are they going to try to price you out?
Well, here's the thing, is that they can't ask for more than 3% of what our projected revenue is going to be. And that being said, they have to provide a mitigation reason on why they're going to be charging this. There are some towns that are escaping that and saying, I want a fire truck. How? I understand it, though, Mike. I'm willing to pay my taxes. I'm willing to pay my host agreement as long as it's affordable. And maybe towns and municipalities are listening to this. What about expanding that over the term of our host agreement? Instead of coming to us and saying we want 3% up front and the host agreement's 5 years, give us 5 years to pay for it. And then renegotiate based on how business is doing, because I'm a small 4-man operation. I want to bring jobs as soon as we have our first harvest come to fruition. And the jobs that we're going to bring, we're talking profit sharing. We're talking about full benefits. We're talking about jobs that people actually want to work. Part of our success, and we're not operational right now, is we have identified what it's going to take for us to survive. We're not being greedy. Yeah, we understand that this community, in order for it to be a community and not lose the conglomerates, we need to have businesses, that are going to be able to help each other out and keep the love the community has together.
Yes.
I'm talking too much, but I just want to say that this community is so great that there was a story earlier on this week of a little boy who had to move to Colorado because he has a brain tumor, and nobody showed up to his birthday party. Well, there's a group out there that got together and sent mail bags of cards, presents, food.
Let me guess, was the parents pot?
They're part of what they sent it out there, but they're a great organization.
They do that stuff a lot.
It's one of those Elmo organizations.
Oh, really, Elmo? He's a friend of the show. Calls in sometimes. 617-903-7464. If you're Elmo or anyone else associated with him, you can always call in. We're friendly. You can troll us. Just please don't dox us. We haven't done anything wrong. We're the good guys, hopefully. Yeah, not yet. Keep your eye on us. We appreciate the challenge, though. Any criticism, we take it. So we're speaking to Ed D'Souza from RiverRun Gardens in Newburyport, Mass, trying to open up a legal cannabis business in Massachusetts, growing cannabis in Newburyport. It's going to be very exciting. When do you expect to open, Ed?
So that's up in the air. It all depends on when the host agreement comes in. We still have to go ahead and upload that, submit that to the CCC licensing portal. We have everything else in together.
If everything went perfect, what do you think the earliest might be that you would be growing cannabis legally?
I would hope to be in August.
August, okay.
Yeah.
Do you plan on doing strictly flower, or are you going to do MIPs also?
No, we're strictly flower. Okay. So the big thing is that the money. The money to get the licensing of what you want to do. We're sticking to what we're experts are. We have a horticulturist that is 30 years in the business. We have a master grower who has coming out of the shadows to help us, deliver the best possible product available.
We have a call. We're going to take the call. Who's on the telephone?
You saw it was a Rhode Island number. You knew who it was.
I don't see him, Donna Hackett, but I know your voice. I know your voice right away. So, and I know
You
Rhode
don't
Island.
see
is-
him?
Yeah, I don't see him. Tom does behind the board. He just waves at me. He's on the other side of the room. But what do you have for us today, Donna Hackett and our guest?
Me, I was going to try to go visit Ed today,
That's
but,
right.
like, my bong captivated me.
I love when Donna comment.
Yeah, it was play with flowers in the garden kind of day.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Donnie missed some good samples.
Oh, shit, I missed the fire?
I've had a fire going all day, Donna. You got to come see me,
Oh,
too.
that's okay, Mikey. You need it.
I do.
I always get good stuff, so I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I think it's great some of the stuff Ed's doing, juicing up the somewhat stale and, you know, I think the community needs a shot of some new blood, and you know, it's exciting to see that people remember who did trailblaze, you know, like KOP and Mickey and all of us who sat there and fought when we still had so much on the line. You know, I'm coming up on 10 years this June.
Since you got raided or since you got breast cancer?
Oh, yeah.
Both.
Yeah, Sammy was a senior in high school. The graduation signs were still hanging up. I had 3 towns. It was one of those nice drug task force, like, you know, all because my daughter had an abusive boyfriend and we reported him. So he, you know, tit for tat. Probably got a plea deal or something, you know. But, you know, yeah, I was rated hardcore while I was bald and fighting breast cancer, so I'll never give up fighting for the patients. And it's nice to see all the progress we've made, you know, but there's still a lot of people who, you know, don't have access to what they need to have access to. I can't even imagine going through the diagnoses that I went through without having cannabis at my side.
Thank God. So you had a happy birthday, right?
Oh yeah, I did. Your singing was really way off, but
Of course it was.
I went to Red Sesh afterwards, so, like, I don't know, I did some sort of mustard. I was tripping balls in the expressway on the way home. I was like, how could mustard get you that high?
Red Blazer mustard.
Hey, Donna, is this
I
where
don't
the
know
splits
who
are coming
made the
from?
mustard. I'll have to get their names so I can give them their compliments, too, because it was quite tasty, too. You know, but it was a nice ride. It definitely was. I slept like a baby. You know me. I like to do all the. I had done 2. I told you when we were talking on the radio show. You said, "Oh, am I aggravating you yet?" And I said, "Hell no. I came totally medicated, Mikey. Throw me anything you got at me."
You were prepared. I don't like Riccio.
Oh
today.
yeah.
Riccio's
I
suffering.
did 2 lollipops prior.
I leave extra time. I say, Carm, I got to leave a little early because I need exactly, Donna. I plan to make sure I get medicated. To deal with Riccio, I got to deal with Riccio. I need medication.
I was with family over there.
Not that bad.
Oh, you don't know.
Hey, Donna.
Yep.
How come you're so badass?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like, you know, old school. I don't know.
Cancer and the cops and growing weed. Her son. I think
Yeah,
I made her
I told her,
badass.
you know,
Tell you, she's
when
got
I
the
was
thickest
arrested,
Boston accent I've ever
This
heard.
is a funny story because I'm going to write a book someday. But when I was arrested, I was bald and I was really pissed off, you know, that here they were arresting me because we had medical marijuana in Rhode Island, but you could never get a doctor to sign a card, you know. And I had cancer and Lyme disease, both stage 3. So I carried a paper in the application in my pocketbook, which my doctor from Massachusetts signed, but it was irrelevant, you know.
Right.
So I mean, the cops didn't have to do everything they wanted to do, but it was 10 years ago, and you know, I mean, we had over 24 plants at my house, so and, you know, it was like a total learning experience for them. I mean, we pretty much schooled them, you know. They were nicknaming me and my kids the Puff Puff Pass family and stuff, and they were like, you know. But you know, I literally, when they asked me to fill out a paperwork in the office and said, you know, like a statement, I must have sounded like I was running for Congress, for Christ's sakes. I was like, I believe my inalienable right to liberty.
Yeah.
And the cops were just laughing at me. They were just like, are you serious, lady? And I'm like, damn straight.
Damn
Good
straight.
job. Good
And didn't they even leave some
this
weed
is
behind?
my right. I have cancer. It's my right. If I smoke a pounder or a joint, I don't care. It's my right.
And they even left some behind. Didn't they even like admit to that it helped you and that they did, right?
Oh my God! I was so bad off. They let me take 2 Percocets in their office because they couldn't keep me there long. It was cruel and unusual, you know. They let me have 2 Percocets while I was waiting in their custody, and they left fully packed bowls in my downstairs basement because they knew I was going to have a rough time when I got home. When I was that sick. So, you know.
Donna's the QOP. You're the QOP.
Forget it. The Queen of Pot, he's saying. That's
The Queen
Richie.
of Pot? I'm not a big fan of nicknames.
That's what I was going to say.
Donna.
I was going to say Richie. Come on.
I
You
didn't
said the
know.
wrong person. I do. But I know Donna too well. 617-903-7464. And there was only one King of Pot. We only have one king. It was...
No.
Because he
Well,
was a
we
goofy
do
bastard
have,
that we loved him so much.
That guy in New Jersey who likes to throw around the K-word name.
Yeah, what a clown.
But I don't know.
So anyways, thank you for calling in, Donna.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. I'm going to get together with Ed soon. Maybe
Yes,
we'll do
we
a
are.
radio show together.
You know, Donna, anytime.
Okay, love you guys. Talk to you later.
You too, Donna.
Bye,
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Now.
With the Young Jerks, WEMF Radio. That's a loud connection. I don't know if it was just my headphones or is it just the I don't know.
I just realized how loud that was.
Yeah, when it clogged out. I wonder if the listeners can tell us. I'm just wondering. Sometimes it's not to them. It's not always the same what you hear in the studios that you hear in the broadcast. You never know. But I noticed the difference because Donna's always loud anyways, as you know. And then the call 617-903-7464. But she sounded good. She's
Yes,
always awesome.
yes,
Like we're not.
yes. I love when she
yeah,
calls.
we love Donna. Love the call.
Yes.
We have Ed D'Souza here from River. Say it again for me. River.
You know what
Rod
it is? You know what
Gardens.
it is? You
Thank
need
you.
some, you need some more
Jesus.
samples, and then you can go ahead and
I
say
do.
it.
I need some more cannabis. It's starting to wear off. And we also have, we have a lot of people here too, so it's a little bit tough to keep track of. We have Judy and Chief, again, from Boston Praise Radio and TV.
Oh, yeah.
The Reality on Tuesday mornings,
Yes.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Yes.
You can hear them on the air, online, on TV as well.
Chief, you did the show last week, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
This week. Yeah. Yeah, they did.
We'll be having
Eric Martin
Eric-
Jr.
Oh.
Eric Martin from the New England
Patriots.
Patriots. Yeah,
Yes.
this coming
You got a
Tuesday, 9 a.m.
you got him coming on?
Yes.
Get him on.
I was just hanging out with Eric
I got you.
today.
I got you.
I
and,
want him on.
I got you.
He was at
I got
he was
you.
at an event. I'll tell you, nicest guy.
Yes.
Isn't he?
Yes.
Really
And-
friend of the
Sweetheart.
community.
Yeah,
Sweetheart.
and his brother, from what I hear, lots of good stuff from his brother as well.
That's great.
Awesome.
Now he's entering the business, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And lots of big news this week we should get to. You just have the rundown. I mean, number one, is a lot of us know Tito Jackson has announced he's getting into the cannabis industry with his group, a big national group.
Yeah. Congratulations,
Sea Hunter.
to Tito.
Verdant.
Sea Hunter, there's another name for it. There's a couple names for the different
Oh,
holding
Sea
groups, but
Hunter.
same thing.
Okay.
Whatever that other name is.
All right.
It's, conglomerate, national,
Yes.
international company. But he's going to be offering equity, hopefully. That's what he wants to do. The things we've been talking about to the cannabis community. Also, who was the lady that's on Jim and Marjorie's show? Sometimes the former sheriff.
Oh, Andrew Cabral.
Bro.
She's also getting into the industry.
Oh wow! I didn't.
Oh, you didn't hear about this?
No, I
It
didn't.
was
Oh,
announced
okay.
this
You
week.
got to hear about this.
Tell me all about it, Brian.
Andrew Cabral is now involved with a marijuana company where she is literally going to take prisoners that she put in jail when they get out.
She's working with Steve Thompson.
Tompkins. Steve Tompkins.
The sheriff.
And it's
Sheriff
got-
Tompkins.
It's going to be a revolving
program
door. You
training
come
them
out,
from jail.
They'll train you to work.
So
And,
she's announced that she's getting involved. Donald Trump has made some kind of statement that he may support the Elizabeth Warren.
Oh.
Who was the other one?
Cory Gardner.
Cory Gardner
Yeah.
bill. I'm interested to see the details on this,
To
but
declassify.
but it seems like it would at
Leave
least
states' rights, yeah.
offer us some banking for the cannabis industry.
Well, what he's saying is that they're gonna change federal law so that the feds are out of the enforcement of marijuana laws.
The states
they leave it up to
decide.
the states, but basically it's Warren and Gardner want banking to be available federally.
This
Okay,
could be
that's
interesting.
the focus of the bill.
Not saying we love Trump, but that's exciting. It's exciting.
We love the news.
This is very
Yes, we
interesting.
love the new news.
Right.
Yes, yes.
So if anyone wants to comment on any of this stuff, be my
Donald
guest.
Trump will
Call
take
him.
weed money. Okay,
I'm sure he
Russian
will.
money, weed money. Oh, he doesn't care. He'll take it all.
I mean,
It's all green.
Any step in the right direction, man. Any
Right.
step.
Yes, yes, absolutely. It's long overdue. And there's another step that I'd like folks to absolutely consider when we're talking about this, and I will not relent on this. The folks who are serving time for
100%.
yes, and I just saw a woman who Kim Kardashian spoke up for, went and visited the president about, and they released her. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why is this so in a cliquey type of manner, for lack of a better word? So we're gonna
like
have to
the
wait.
chosen one.
Yeah, so we're gonna
You
have
got
to
lucky.
wait until Kim,
Finds me.
No.
finds me for me to get out. I mean, are you kidding me?
No, we got to fight for the people that are still behind bars.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
But I gotta say, I like that it happened with Kim Kardashian.
Oh,
she
yes.
saw this.
Oh, yes.
Decided to
That
get
mom
involved.
they
And
cut her
now
off.
Kim Kardashian is actually going to help more people. She's talking
Good.
about this. This isn't just a one-time thing
Oh,
for
good.
me. I'm going to actually get involved and
Good.
help a lot more people.
Good.
So,
Good. You shouldn't
and it
get
looks like
life in
Trump might
prison.
too. Hopefully, I mean, maybe he starts actually doing some things to help.
And we should
Well,
get
let's hope.
expungement with this DA.
Yes.
Yep.
We should get
Yeah.
expungement with this DA
Yep.
race because anyone coming in needs to really understand expungement's long overdue.
I'm glad you brought that up, Chief. We have a district attorney race in Suffolk County. There's been a couple of debates recently.
Yes.
We had at least two of the different candidates, one an independent, Michael Maloney, in last week, a friend of the show. He's with Canacare Doctors. He's in the cannabis industry. He's a 420 doctor. He's really smart, bright, gets the whole drug addiction thing. He's
What's his name again, Mike?
Michael Maloney.
Michael Maloney.
He totally gets the asset forfeiture. He's really good on this. He's a white guy, obviously. If people saw the video last week, they can tell his skin is white. He's a white male. We have some people of color who are running who are really attractive on the Democratic side. Vander Cavallo is one of them. He came on the show, Mass State Rep. We also have some other ones, Rollins and some other folks. I was watching them. Very good. But there is like one sore thumb there. There's one person that I'm just praying doesn't win that Democratic primary.
Tell us
Oh,
all.
Henning?
Yes.
Yes, Greg Henning.
Yes.
What do you guys think? What do you think about
He's
this
the
race?
favorite of the police.
No,
He's the
no,
favorite
no,
of
we
the
don't
police
want him.
department.
We don't want Greg
No,
Henning.
we don't want him. No.
He's
not
trying
for
to
the
pretend
people
he's
at all.
not, though.
He's not for the people.
You notice how he said that? Like he really pretended he wasn't at
They can't hide the support that the police are giving him. So, I mean, you can just see it and feel it.
the one white guy on the
Yeah.
Democrat side.
We want serve and protect. We had enough of law and order. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you like? Who do you guys like, Judy and Chief, so far in this?
I think it's a
area?
fantastic field. I like Carvalho too,
As
but
do I.
I'm gonna keep letting this thing develop. I think
Right.
it's very
It's too
interesting.
early.
But,
It's early.
But yeah, Henning it's uncomfortable how much the police departments seem to like. it.
And I'm worried. The problem I'm worried is like we have 3 or 4 good candidates,
Yes.
and two
Rachel Rollins.
two of them are women, or is it
Yes.
3 of them are women?
Three.
At least three
Three.
women,
Yeah,
2,
well.
yeah, and a lot of them, majority of them are people of color. But I'm worried they're going to all cancel each other out, and then this one.
They're all going to split the vote.
Doug Henning's going to
Yes.
win because he's the conservative traditional candidate in this district. He's going to win all those white conservative
And he
votes.
has the deep pockets, I see, with all of the visibility.
He's
that
got the
I see.
DA, the
Yes.
current DA
Yes.
support.
Absolutely.
Conservative.
He's in the
Conservative
office
leaders,
right
yes.
now.
Yes, and it matters. Those things matter. So if you all, want to have choice, donate to whomever other campaign candidate.
Anyone but Henning?
Yes.
All of them but Henning?
All of them but Henning.
We want to invite all of them on. So we're going to be reaching out. We have we already invited Michael Maloney. He's the independent. He won't be in the primary. He came on last week. He's very attractive. I'm definitely supporting his campaign because he'll be there to the end. So if it's just Henning that wins the Democratic primary, at least we have one chance to try to cut him off of the pass and maybe a
Yes.
long shot. But at least there'll be someone there to challenge him till the end.
Absolutely.
And Michael Maloney is a really, I like him a lot as a candidate. I'm glad he's running. And we're going to have him in the first week of July. And we're going to actually invite all the rest of the candidates and see if they'll come in. Any of the Democrats. We're going to try to have a little forum here. We know we'll have at least one candidate. I don't know if any of the Democrats will come in, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
I think that's July.
Well, if they're
7th or
listening,
something
they're
like that.
invited.
Right. And we'll reach out.
Yeah.
And if they want to reach out to us proactively right now, do
be
so.
great.
That would be great. We're the Young Jerks. We're every Saturday at 6 p.m. If you haven't like us on Facebook, follow us. Check out our Patreon page. What else? We've got some comments as well online. Brian, you got anything going on? You any questions you want to ask or any comments you want to make?
Well, I just wanted to mention that this Cabral thing, if we can go back to it for a sec.
All right, actually, before we do that, one thing. Cheryl, a listener, commented on Michael Maloney that we were just talking about. It said Michael is a great candidate for mental health patients' rights in the legal system in protecting cannabis. And Cheryl is a registered nurse in Massachusetts. She really cares
We
about
love
healthcare.
Cheryl. And hi, Cheryl.
We do. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I was just going to mention, in what would be an unprecedented move, her company plans to work directly with the Suffolk County Sheriff to hire people recently released from jail as workers at its cultivation facility and retail pot shop. This is going to be a very different kind of cannabis company, Cabral said in an interview. Clearly, our purpose is to sell cannabis, but because Massachusetts took such a strong approach to social equity in its regulations, there's a real opportunity to balance profits against conscience.
I hope that includes.
Now,
I
want to hear. I'm sorry. Mike.
Yeah, I want to jump in too, but
Yeah,
you
go
can
ahead,
do it.
go
But I
ahead.
hope that just does, because people are already commenting, and I think their comments are relevant. People are making a comment. Well, is that just a 15-hour an hour, a 15-hour an hour?
$15 an hour.
Thank you. Job. Or does it include some equity? I want to see some profit sharing, some ownership. I want to make sure that these folks aren't just making minimum wage, which is $15 an hour. That's minimum wage. It might be a little more, but it's tough to live on $15 an hour. So I hope it includes much more than just the standard, here's a job, because it seems like jobs are getting easier to come by again, if you notice. The economy's starting to pick up. It wasn't, a couple of years ago, it was really hard to get a job again, and people were having
Mike,
difficulty.
just remember, these are people with the, going for jobs in the cannabis industry. So if you have a cannabis charge against you when you're coming out of, prison because of this, those jobs aren't readily available.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know where that noise is coming from. Do you?
Big
Someone
Ed.
in the back?
Big Ed.
Big Ed? Yeah, 617-903-7464. I didn't hear a word you said, other Ed, because of the other Ed. Was it your phone or the other Ed?
I have no
Oh, it's
idea.
Big Ed. All right, we don't know.
Isn't
It's
that
one of the Eds.
Isn't that the number one sin? You turn your phone down?
Yeah, but I do it sometimes. But I really couldn't hear what you were saying. It was so loud. This is weird.
Well, you said what I was going to say, Mike, so it doesn't make sense for me to repeat.
You'll repeat it because you're good at it.
Well, listen, I loved what you said, Ed, about equity. I loved what you said about profit sharing. And a livable wage. Yes, let's talk about a livable wage. I'm tired of folks, putting a number on it, and when Australia's paying their folks like $20-something an hour as a minimum livable wage.
Right.
Here's a difference that I at least look at. People I hire, we're looking to bring into our family.
Beautiful.
And they're not just a number.
Beautiful.
My last job before I entered the cannabis industry, I used to work for Boston ABCD. And it was one of those things where you always wanted to do and do and do and do. And then one day they let you go.
Yes.
You're still a number, even when you're helping people.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know what?
I know all about it.
So the first thing that my father and I got together and we talked about, when we're actually making money and hiring people, we're hiring family. And those people are going to, you're going to start off learning down here, but you're eventually going to learn to grow, and who knows where you're going to make it in our company.
Great.
That sounds good.
Absolutely.
Sounds
and that's
good
what
to
I want
me.
to hear from Sheriff Cabral and Sheriff Tompkins.
And we were talking to our guest today, Ed D'Souza from RiverRun Gardens. I read it right off his shirt so I don't forget.
Mike, we'll change the name just for you.
No, I'm just, it's hot.
No,
yeah.
Mike has this problem with guest names,
names
company
and-
names. He's just not good with
I
names.
got a speech impediment since I was a kid,
Yeah.
So it's sometimes
We may have a
sometimes I'm
strain for that.
stumbling along.
That's what you keep me here for.
Oh, that's what the
Pronounce
meeting's for.
The guest name.
And then sometimes I'm perfect, and people are like, "No, you don't." And then other shows, people are like, "Oh yeah, there's something wrong with that guy's." There'll be certain shows you notice, like, I am not always the same.
That's why you're great on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you called me a different name one time on your show.
Well, I called
But
you
it's
Donna.
okay. Yeah, it's okay. I
Because the
love
Donna who called earlier.
Yes, I understand.
But names is always an issue for me.
I have the same
I've screwed up
problem,
so many
I was
names.
not upset
Ask
with
Tom
you.
Galvin.
What's his name?
Bill Galvin.
Yes,
Yeah, but I think I did that on purpose, Bud.
I think.
Bud. Okay.
I like the fact that Josh Zacum's doing well.
Yeah, so let's talk about that too.
Yeah, okay.
You know, the thing about Josh Zakum too, he won the the nod from the Democratic State Committee convention.
He did.
Even more than the committee, the whole convention.
Yeah, he did.
He got the nod. He got the endorsement, and the incumbent Democrat Tom Galvin still won't debate him. I mean, you're running the elections, Bill Galvin, in the state of Massachusetts. William Galvin's been running the elections.
What irony.
How anti-democratic can you be? How anti-voter can you be to not let them hear you debate your challenger one time, that you won't actually give the heads up that you'll accept the debate challenge when this young up-and-comer is a city councilor in Boston, the biggest city.
Yes.
He just beat you in the big, straw poll show of hands that indicates you're in trouble. And you're still not going to debate him. This is a joke.
Stand up.
Well, you know why it's a joke? Because he's all done. And he knows it. So he's like, why bother?
No, but be a man.
No,
pass the mantle. Yeah.
And show us that you really actually care about the office at this point.
He left.
It has to be more about the office than you.
Yeah, leave with some respect,
Right.
some dignity.
He left the convention before the final vote was announced that Jacob got the nod.
Not
Okay,
good.
because he didn't even want to stay for that because he basically said. He's basically saying,
He's not even
I don't want to be
campaigning
here
either.
at my own crucifixion.
Yeah, he had no signs there either.
Wow.
It's like one guy's actually
knows he's
trying
all
to
done.
win the office, and the other guy's like, well, if we win, like we always do,
Wow.
right?
Well, let's hope he finds some grace. Yeah.
No.
I don't see how anyone can support him. I just
Time to
don't
go.
get it. I don't get how anyone could support
Well, he's
Bill
been there
Galvin.
for a long time. We need
Yes.
some new blood.
Right.
We do.
Yeah.
Just think he's only a couple blocks away.
Change is good.
Yeah, he lives in Brighton.
I don't know. So, anyways, we're speaking of. We have some other folks here. We have Jessica Edwards as well from Cape Cod. Do you want to talk more too about like what is actually the problem you think the most on Cape Cod? Why it's hard to open, and also caregivers. Like, is that still a topic of even the delivery services? Is there still a real need for that? And is there any hope for it? What do you think on that,
I
Jessica?
think that there is definitely room for delivery services on the Cape, mostly because nobody wants to go out in this traffic. I mean, it's terrible down there.
Is the current dispensary down there offering that to people?
Not at this time. I don't believe so, no.
So you have black market
Yeah.
services.
Or
Yeah.
gray market as
Gray
well?
market.
Well, you know what the problem is now that I'm actually seeing one of the big problems is that there's so many people now that it's become recreational that are trying to make money from it, that they're doing things not great. They're making edibles, and I've had this analogy several times with people as I'm explaining to them the difference between their dosage. If they're just using dry flower and making concentrate, infusion rather, they have no idea what they're giving somebody. And they're selling them though. And they don't know, because they don't know what they're doing mathematically, whether or not they've just given them the equivalent of a wine cooler or Bacardi 151. And that's the way I explain it to them, is that if you think you're getting a wine cooler but somebody's giving you 151, you're not going to be able to function. But the reverse of that is if you pay for Bacardi 151 but somebody gives you a wine cooler, you're going to be heated.
Yes.
So this happens on both sides. There.
So this is the outfall that we're seeing, is that so many people are trying to get in the business now that they're just kind of winging it and learning as they go, and it's just a mess because we don't have the regulation in place.
And the regulations kind of almost too cumbersome and takes too long, and people aren't waiting for them.
Yeah, and I don't think that the Cape is going to qualify for any of those permits that go to people where they've had a huge impact on the community.
Sure.
I don't think that, I think that we're too
Not
white for that
qualified.
down there.
Right.
I gotta
Yeah.
say, I really don't believe the math behind that as well. I know that some of the commissioners have gone out and said this is where we're basing our,
There was some
economic
data
impact.
to talk about it,
Yeah.
which, I found it was strange that Lawrence wasn't included.
Right?
Which I found weird. But, hey, they had to start somewhere. And they had to base it on some kind of data. And they did have data that they used. It's just probably not perfect and probably could be more comprehensive. But anyways, we're talking to you as well about Cape Cod addiction. I mean, do you think that there's any hope that it will change, that like there will be more services?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because there's a lot of people down there. one of my friends, Chris, he's working with C3RN, and he's trying to bring a lot of stuff down to the Cape as far as education and
What's C3RN?
events.
Tell us about that. Some people don't know.
Cannabis Community Care and Research, and they are doing a lot of just phenomenal things. Marion, who's in charge of it, is amazing.
Randall's
She's just
great
a
too,
powerhouse, yeah. And they're all just really good at what they're doing, and they're moving ahead, and they're bringing some, information and education down to the Cape in ways that we had trouble doing because people didn't want to rent space for a cannabis-based event. But Marion has the backing of so much science and respectability behind her that she just goes in there and gets it done. So we're really excited about that and what they're doing. And hopefully getting more stuff like that on the Cape is going to start changing people's minds, and they're going to change their minds eventually. I mean, they have to. We are not in the 50s anymore. So it is slow going, but there's been a lot of town meetings, and you can see it shift in the Cape Cod Times articles in the comment sections. I go to the comment sections to get the temperature, and people are changing a lot. There's a lot more positive comments and a lot less negative propaganda, reefer madness crap.
That's awesome to see.
Yeah, growth.
Now you have what's your personal stake? You have a company. What kind of work are you doing? I know that you're involved. So what are you up to, Jessica?
I do. We do in-home demonstrations and parties. We hold events, and we do education and teach people and install grow rooms, room design and implementation.
And so, if someone, which I often have, like I said earlier, so many of my friends from high school and college or just growing up will hit me up and be like, I know you're into this. I've always had these health issues. I need some education, information for myself or my grandma or whoever I love on this cannabis because I think it will help them or me. And I'm just like overwhelmed because I'm so busy doing my own thing and I got all these requests. I can send them your way, or especially if they live in the Cape Cod area. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. So you're like, you must get a lot of calls from people.
We get a lot of calls from people, and I actually get a lot of messages on Facebook from friends and family who don't want anybody to know. They try to keep it low-key, or they're curious about what it could do, or they have a family member, but they don't want the community to know. They don't want Cape Cod is so small that they want to keep that quiet.
And you do that for them?
Oh, yeah.
And Chief, you also do similar work in your
that
community.
Sounds real familiar. I mean, that's why people go to private cannabis clubs. Some people simply cannot go to dispensaries or refuse to. Mm-hmm. And so there'll always be these private associations that will serve those people and have been serving those people.
Do you think it would be helpful to license you guys a little more and give you a little more access, credibility, power?
Absolutely. And so it's clear that they don't want to even acknowledge that we exist, right? Because I think they're so invested in their previous system they can't even see, but we've been, it's cannabis delivery's been fighting the opiate problem before all these people started getting sensitive to it. Mm-hmm. And so that's really one of the reasons I started doing delivery, is seeing the need out there and then realizing this is totally ridiculous. And so there's so many people that I met through delivery that I just really became very educated, and that's why I'm so proud and happy to be part of this movement. Looking around this table, and,
right? Let's give us all a round of applause. This is a chronic crew.
Right, and that's the thing. So I'm a veteran, right? And opioids affect veterans in a specific way, right? I don't believe there's any organization that buys more pharmaceuticals than the VA.
No,
it can't possibly.
Definitely not.
Gives them all out.
Hands them out, for free.
And so at the same time, they're very invested in that system. And so to even say cannabis around VA type people, you're threatening a lot of what they've been invested in.
For decades.
Very long time. And so we're excited. We just started a support group for veterans that are interested in medical marijuana. So they have a place to go where they can get that information, education, right at the club. So we're doing that once a week now.
Awesome. Have you talked to Stephen Mandilli about that?
I haven't.
You know Stephen?
But I look forward to it. I do know Stephen, and I saw he actually invited me to the one he did out there. We're a little he's a little closer to Worcester.
Definitely. Yeah.
But this is why I'm so excited. Is because being a part of what's going on, being a part of this movement that's really bringing education, and that's why I was at the Black Market today. I had such a good time. because I was introducing cannabis to so many people in a way that's going to help them, and so they're just so happy to learn. They're just so happy to interact with people that are open to teach them about cannabis. And so that's why private clubs create an environment where people can really cannabis-friendly environment where people can really talk and get these things out. So I've had like teenage kids, like 18. This is back in medical days. They'd bring their parents to the club, and they'd sit their parents down in front of me, and they'd say, "Please talk to my parents. I need medicinal cannabis. They don't understand."
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that happen so
much. And
much.
they'd just be sitting, crying on the couch.
Sure.
And I'd be basically reading these parents the riot act. Like, do you understand what you're doing right here?
It's a tough one. 617-903-7464. What's the black market? Tell us about that, too.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Chief. Tell everybody.
It's in
about
Roxbury, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
is it Dudley?
Yeah, it's in Dudley Square, Nubian Square.
Right, where I live.
And it's this, like, fantastic flea market, like little mall, where all these vendors come in. And so Mass Bay Cannabis, the private club, was a vendor today. We had a table over there introducing people to what we do and giving out information.
So it's like an expanded version of the old Nubian Notions.
Well, yeah. I think you can see it that way. And it's fantastic because a lot of people come through over there in Dudley. And so they're open again tomorrow, Saturdays and Sundays. It was 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. today. But people should check it out.
And that's supporting black-owned business?
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's all small businesses.
Awesome.
So you'll see like smaller craft vendors and people with interesting foods and drinks and jewelry and clothes.
Are you seeing people from other parts of the city come down?
Yeah, actually, some people were from another state.
Good.
Awesome.
So it's really it's a nice
online
growing
too.
community
People
over there.
like it online. The black
Today
market.
was their first year anniversary. So congratulations to the Black Market.
Yes, congratulations.
Look it up on Facebook too. They're on there. You can look them up and find them.
And Tito always gives them a shout out.
Yeah, Tito likes
Social
them.
media.
Tito Jackson.
Yep, all the time. That's how I found out about
Oh,
it.
you'd be surprised who you see come through the Black Market over there.
I'm sure.
I saw several politicians today.
And if I may,
It's probably one of the best reasons to go by there. Not just the politicians too, but like the real people. Like you're gonna find like the real, the people that actually care. They take time to
It was
head
really
down there.
fun. It was great seeing everybody today.
Sorry, Judy. I mean to cut you
No
off.
worries. Just to go back to the cannabis information is so necessary. I have a girlfriend in Iowa. She has stage 3 breast cancer, and because she's there, she couldn't find anyone to get some CBD oil. So if anybody's listening, my friend Joyce, she doesn't mind my calling her name. She's recovering. She's hoping not to get the cancer not to come back, but you know how that is. So if anybody has any CBD oil that they can ship to her, let us know. They can
Hit
call
up Bill Downing.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Bill Downing?
No, I have not. I have not yet.
You should talk to Bill.
Okay.
So she's in a state where they can't, they don't even sell it legally, correct?
Just talk to Bill.
She can't get her hands on
He'll
it.
ship
she
it.
Tells me.
And
I shouldn't say that out loud. Brian always has to go too far and make me say too much. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Thanks for looking out for
That's
me.
what I'm here for.
617-903-7464 is our phone number. We're the Young Jerks, WEMF Radio. It's getting hot in here. We've been up for over an hour here. Are there any more comments people want to? I don't know. We had one call, but I just want to see. Jamie said she wants to see worker owned. Things we were talking about as well. Michael Maloney's listening. He said hello.
Hey.
Greetings.
Yeah, Mike,
Good-looking
going
boy,
back of
by
what
the way. Good-looking boy, that Michael.
Yeah.
piggybacking off of what Chief was saying, those businesses there. This is one of the reasons why we need to fight for delivery services and social consumption.
Yes.
That's the easiest entry point for the business. It's
really.
worked in California. I'm really surprised that it's
We
during.
need that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Need it.
That's the next fight.
Yeah.
We really need to fight for social consumption. And, there's so many people who can't, you rent a place.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like my situation, we own a condo. There are issues, believe me.
Yeah.
We have joint walls,
Oh, yep.
smoke, smell, travels. There are issues. So people need to have places where, especially patients, you can't smoke in your car.
Right.
Can't smoke in your house.
Right.
Can't smoke in your workplace. Can't smoke at the street.
But they're
Can't
charging money
smoke.
all over Main Street.
Yeah.
They're making money all over the place, though.
Where can
Yeah.
we smoke?
And did you know that I read in Lowell they're giving folks a fine now?
$500.
if you're caught smoking in public.
Oh, if you're in the car, it's 500. If you're in the
How
street, it's 300
ridiculous
plus
is
the
this
yes.
without social consumption.
so addicted to their
So we're opening dispensaries and we're legalizing marijuana on a state level come next month. And so where are folks supposed to go and consume?
Right.
Right.
And someone else also commented in the studio, actually, Dina said, check if Amazon will ship CBD to Iowa. You will find everyone shipping CBD everywhere now.
Okay.
So sometimes you just gotta be willing to take the chance that it might get seized. Probably nothing will happen to you, but it might get seized, and maybe, who knows? State of Iowa could come after you. Who knows? You could get charged, but more than likely, one-time shipment. I doubt it. So 617-903-7464. This is what we still have to do to get medicine in certain states, and people make life or death decisions and ship things over state lines, and that's why the Trump thing is important.
It is.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like
It
Trump,
is. It is.
if it happens, it would be really good. Hopefully some of these things would end
Yeah.
the craziness,
Yes.
at least from the federal government side.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Stop the
delivery is
madness.
probably the most important because there's just so many people that don't have access and don't drive, especially on the Cape where they're so old. We have an elderly population, so they don't, drive very far. And without people to fill in and do this and bring them, whatever it is, they just don't have it, and they certainly don't always have the means to grow it themselves. And that's a really common rebuttal. Well, we don't need this because you can just grow it yourself, and it's not just the easiest thing in the world for somebody to set up and grow.
Some of your folks the folks that you speak to are elderly.
Oh yeah.
What's their kind of experience with it? Are they like? I'm guessing they're new to it and they don't understand it. Like,
They're either completely new to it, or it's I smoked a joint back in 1963,
yeah.
or whatever it is. But and they're curious because a lot of the calls are, oh, I found out or I heard that it was good for Alzheimer's or dementia.
Looking for answers.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do get a lot of those calls, but they're people that aren't necessarily driving that, would benefit from it. I teach computers at a nursing home on Saturdays, and I can see them not being able to, right click or,
how many,
that.
I mean, when you're sick, obviously a good portion are going to be homebound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like my friend Grant Smith,
It's denying
he's always
people
talking about, being the homebound patient, how important delivery services for him, because there are just some days and some weeks when he can't leave the house.
Yeah.
He's just not doing well.
Can't function.
No,
You
we have,
may see him out at other times. He looks great and he's doing well, but other times he just
Not so good.
You don't want to deny people cannabis.
Yeah.
And there's some people. It's
and
a
you
crime
can't
to do.
and you can't
deny
send
some
someone
people
else to the dispensary with your card. You have to go.
Yep.
You can't go. You can't send your caregiver. They won't allow that. So
Well, we do have people that go out of their way to, get stuff to clients
You do.
that need it and stuff like that. And Zach at Bay State Seed is really good for that. He will drive all over the state bringing seeds to people that really need it. So we do have clutch players, but it shouldn't be like that.
right, Jamie's making further comments. She said, "Can't smoke if kids are in the home." Another reason
another
why.
thing.
Can
Yes. Yes.
Risk DCF involvement. That's another reason why you should have it. Be able to have private adult places where we can use cannabis.
Safely and
Safely.
yeah.
And also, she agrees with us. Many patients are homebound and unable to grow physically. Yeah,
Yep.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
one size doesn't fit all.
No, it does not.
It's amazing the people I saw at home that can benefit from cannabis. And it was so wrong. You know what makes me even more frustrated is the people who don't even get to experience what cannabis could do for them because of the stigma
They're
that's been
scared of
around.
it.
And that's what really frustrates
People
me. 'cause
die over
There's
that.
veterans who are suicidal. You understand? And so I believe some of them, right, cannabis is just enough to allow them to change their view and really start seeing their life differently. And so, and it's the same for people who are suffering through getting off of opiates. Cannabis is something even the doctors admit now. They say, even if you're going to do opiates, you should include cannabis in that regimen too, because it makes the opiates more effective so you can use less.
Right.
Absolutely. If you're going to use them at all.
Yes. Which we're
And
not.
I would-
So
and-
you don't deny.
I would
you
say
don't deny
I would
people
say
cannabis.
stick to Tylenol
Yeah, we're not
and do
saying
that
to
with
use it,
Tylenol.
but
Try
some
not to
folks
use the
are gonna use it
Tylenol and
anyway.
use them less. That's what I do. I just stick. I have back issues throughout the opiates years ago, and all I use is not Tylenol but ibuprofen. That's it. And it's only when the cannabis isn't working when the edibles aren't working.
Even ibuprofen will shut your liver down.
I know, but one.
Kidney.
I take one.
Kidney.
I take one. I don't even take the two, and then if it really doesn't work, I might take two, but that's very rare. Like once a month I might do that. Back in the day when I first hurt my back, I was taking those pills every 6 hours, right? 2 of them. Because now it's very rare. Very. Like it's just cannabis.
And we're still
Only
learning
when
about
it's super inflamed. Go ahead.
We're still learning about the cannabinoids and the cannabis system and what they're doing to us. So who's to say that that one pill that you take now is helping you better because its receptors are more open due to the cannabinoid system? And nobody was allowed to study.
I just look at it as a stronger, whack you over the head medicine that affects your liver, but it also does. I think ibuprofen, because ibuprofen, number one, is anti-inflammatory, and so isn't cannabis. But it's just another. I feel like stronger for the nerve pain. Immediately, kind of makes it go away. But do I want to be taking those every 6 hours?
No.
For the rest of my life, and end up looking for a new liver and a new kidney, just like my other relatives have.
I can speak to that because I was just banned from taking ibuprofen because it ruined your stomach lining.
Right, and that too. It used to make me sick. The opiates did as well.
Yes.
That was the other reason I never liked them.
I mean, even aspirin's dangerous.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
All pills are. Take as little as you can, is my opinion. And only, when I'm saying pain, I'll take one, it's when it's really throbbing, oh man, I can't sleep tonight. It's so bad.
You're safe with weed, though.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that usually does it, especially joints. If one don't work, hit the second one. 617-903-7464.
Right, I mean, I've been doing research on this for years, and I still can't get to that spot where I want to take ibuprofen or any of that stuff anymore.
Right.
I mean, I don't even want to take Vicodin.
No, I agree. I'm telling you,
I'd rather be in pain at this point.
I agree, but at certain points, sometimes pain becomes so much.
Brian will be happy to fund your research.
Well, I'm just going to say, you've given me some materials to review this evening, and I'll give it the proper amount of research it merits. Okay.
I tell people and their friends, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to the people you love. If they are sick and they're going through these regimens of very strong pharmaceuticals, you owe it to them and yourself to at least try something that's less harmful, has less side effects, and that's cannabis. So I tell people, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your loved ones to at least, check out cannabis before you go for that operation or that new designer drug. And I talk to a lot of people about this all the time, and they're coming to me just before they're about to try some next new fantasy drug. And a lot of them thank me very much, actually.
Well, no, I was on 4 blood pressure medications once. Now I'm down to 1.
Good.
Thanks, because I incorporated cannabis into my medical regimen.
And you're looking good,
Yeah, you do.
I feel good.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're the Young Jerks, WEMF Radio. I think we covered everything today. I lost the live video on my phone. I'm trying to find it again and see if there's any more comments so we can kind of wrap it up, because I'm sure there are more. But if you have some comments, call in before we leave. 617-903-7464 is our phone number. You can definitely call in. I also had a thought on Facebook this week about organ donation. Seeing a lot of friends, especially Brooke, obviously, Brooke Andrade. She's been suffering for years trying to get kidneys. Other people I know suffering trying to get both kidneys and livers, and these folks just wait. And they suffer. And it just, why? Why don't we have kidneys? I'm not no expert. I don't know. I asked for some info and advice on Facebook. We talked about, one of the things I suggested is the organ donation. When we go in and get our license, everyone should sign up for it, number one. But shouldn't we just even change that whole thing and just make it everyone is automatically opted in? Everyone's eligible for an organ donation automatically, unless you opt out. If you don't want to do it, you can opt out. But we need to expand the pool. It seems like there's a big kind of scandal going on too about how they make so much money on these organs as well, and there's a limited amount of them. I want to overflood it, just like we do with cannabis. Overflood the market. What do you think? Do you think we should do it? Yes or no? I want to hear what people think here.
Well, no, mandatory?
not mandatory. Make it an opt-out so that everyone is automatically eligible. So it's automatically assumed. Why wouldn't you want to give an organ when you get your license?
No, I think
but if
that
you want
falls
to
in line
opt
with human
out,
nature.
you opt out. You can. All you're just gonna say is, I don't want to be in the organ donation.
I think that falls in line with human nature more, because what will happen is that people often don't make an effort. So if the effort is having to become an organ donor, they're not going to do it. But if the effort is to not be an organ donor, they're not going to follow through, and they're just automatically going to be organ donors.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Except the people who have a problem with it, and they can
And
opt
then
out.
they can go through the
That's
You know
why
what's
I
the
like it
problem
that
with
way.
it? The dialysis center in every other town. Okay, because if kidneys are more available, then more people won't be going to dialysis
Oh, that's
every month.
terrible.
Like, yeah,
F
I know,
them.
right?
All right, F them. I feel
It's
so
a
bad
huge
for them.
business.
It is a huge business.
Okay.
We'll take a call. Anyone else want to comment on that before we take the call?
No, I'm good.
All right. Who's on the phone?
Hi, it's Cheryl Nadolny. How are you?
Hi, Cheryl.
Hey,
You
Cheryl.
get 2 calls?
Hi.
Yeah, there's another one
So
coming.
glad you brought up
God.
the organ donation thing, Mike. I saw that today. So I think it's really great that you're shedding light to that subject and situation.
What do you think the answer is? Do you think that that's a good idea that we were talking about?
Yeah, like 20 years ago, there was a big push and a lot of campaigning for encouraging people when they went to get their license to become a registered organ donor. And I noticed that that's not so much in the spotlight anymore. But, I think the more we reassure people, like I want to reassure people because I saw a lot of comments on your feed when you were talking about that this afternoon on Facebook. I think people are afraid that, like, if they're an organ donor, when they come into the ER, that we're not going to work on them as hard
Just
or
take
something
the
like
organ.
we're going to go after your organs, and that just doesn't happen. We do everything possible, imaginable, and the process is tedious. Even if we think this person is not salvageable and not going to come back, we respect every patient that comes in the door, and they are like our first priority. So if you have that organ donor on your license, if you're listed as an organ donor, it's not that, it's not going to change anything, and it's just a wonderful gift to be able to give to somebody. I've seen families suffer brutally for years waiting for an organ, and, I myself last year almost became someone who needed an organ. And kidneys in particular, like your friend, they're really hard to come by. So that's why we need to keep talking to patients and letting people know that, it's not a scary thing. I know it's unpleasant to talk about, but I think it's something that we need to start seeing again, like commercials, news, on Facebook, social media, stuff like that. And I think the living donations are a great idea. The organ donor swaps. I think that's a wonderful thing where if you have a family member and you wanted to donate to them, but you don't match your family member's blood type, you can donate to someone else on their behalf. And UNOS has a program for that so if you're donating to someone else, like across the country, who needs a kidney and you're a match and your sister needs a kidney, you can donate to that other person, and then like your sister, for example, would get, she would get like a voucher, or she'd be bumped up the priority list. So they're starting to try different things too, to get people matched for living donors as well, which is pretty cool. So.
Thank you, Cheryl. You're a registered nurse too, so you know a lot about this. Obviously, you're like the expert
Yeah.
on it.
And a diabetic,
Well,
right, Cheryl?
I used to be in Tufts at the floating hospital for many years, and I'm once again now back at Tufts through since they bought our Hallmark. And we saw a lot of organ transplants there, some really cool things and some miracle stories. So it's a subject really near and dear to me. And I just want to let you know I'm praying for your friend. I've been following her story. So I hope she's okay.
Thank you. So do you think it's a good idea, or maybe it could even probably never happen though, of doing what I'm talking about, this automatic opt-in for the organ donation?
I personally, I know a lot of people get sensitive about this, but I personally feel everybody should be an organ donor. Just, I just think that it would solve this problem. We're pushing for research to try to clone organs and things like that, but that's a long ways off. So yeah, I don't see an issue with that. I know a lot of people are going to scream that that's a human rights issue, but if you're dead, they're dead. I mean, of course, not for people who have medical pre-existing conditions, that wouldn't be a good donor, or, you know, for people who have certain religious beliefs about it. But everyone else, you know, I've seen families get great comfort by that too. So if their loved one has died, they know it's not in vain. You know, they know that someone else is living on because of that, and because of their loved one, that their death, you know, actually in the end meant something. I'm a big believer in that. I'm an organ donor. John's an organ donor. We're all, like, everyone I work with is an organ donor. I'd love to see everybody be one. So
thank you so much.
I agree with you on it.
Thank you for calling in, Cheryl.
You're welcome.
We love you.
I miss
Happy
ya.
Saturday. Yeah, we miss you too. Happy Saturday. Thank you for all your support and love.
Oh, you too, always.
And knowledge. Very smart.
Oh, sometimes.
No, you. I
All
mean,
the time, Cheryl.
all the time.
All the time.
And how willing you are to share it too. You're very. Thank you so much. Let's give Cheryl a round.
Yes. We love Cheryl. She's so empathetic.
We're the Young Jerks. Thank you, Cheryl. We're here every Saturday at 6 p.m. Our callers make us, don't we? We have some
Yes.
good callers.
We just missed one.
We missed
Tom, do you
another
know
one,
what
yeah.
it was?
It was coming from Cheryl's call. It was like a delay.
Oh,
Okay.
Something
You didn't miss
happened.
anybody.
But yeah, we're here every Saturday at 6 p.m. with the Young Jerks. We have guests here. Again, I think we're about over. We're pretty much over.
7:20.
Yeah, we should get out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going forever. We're going to say goodbye.
Yes.
We'll be back next week with another huge show. Do we have the Activist Hour coming up tonight?
They're off tonight.
They're off, okay.
Coming back next week.
They're coming back next week, okay. So,
Monica's still sick.
yes, that's right.
Shout out to Monica.
Yeah,
Yes.
shout out to
Go
Monica.
reality on Tuesday morning.
Seems like she's also got some good news for Monica coming too. It sounds like I saw on her Facebook. So, best love to Monica Cannon
Bring her
Grant
food.
Hope
and
she
her
Bring her
family.
food.
soon.
Yeah, and so let's go through what everyone's got going on now. We got the reality program on Tuesday mornings at
9 a.m. on Boston Praise Radio and TV.
And we do the Veterans Support
We also
Group.
do a veterans support group Tuesday evenings for any veterans that are interested in cannabis as a medicine, just information. Please get in contact with Mass Bay Cannabis. We do that group Tuesdays.
Mass Bay Cannabis.
Absolutely.
And on Saturday, Hero Nurturing Center, we do the Nature Healing Walk. You need to come, Mike.
I would
know
love
you
to.
live far, but
Eventually
you need to
I
come.
will.
You need to come.
When I have time
In
off,
the
I'll
Blue
be
Hills,
People bring
Brian,
their
please
dogs.
come.
there. When do you do that? Like just anytime?
Saturday mornings,
Saturday
12
mornings.
o'clock, all the time,
Yeah.
every time, every year. So
Awesome.
please come.
Perfect. And Richie just here. He's just hanging with me. Right?
Exactly. Huh?
The sidekick.
Exactly.
And we also have Jessica Edwards here. You have a company. What's your company? How can people find out more info?
Cannabetter Consulting. We're on Facebook.
And go. I just give everyone. It's always good to repeat. I know you've already said it, but repetition is key.
Yes.
For new listeners, tell people what your company does, where you're located, where you help people.
Okay, Cannabetter Consulting. We're on Cape Cod, and we do education, in-home demonstrations, parties, and grow room installation and design.
Awesome. So you help people
Yes.
that need the knowledge on, especially Cape Cod.
We needed to cover the whole range, yeah, because there wasn't a lot of anybody out there doing it.
And you have a website, Facebook page.
Facebook, yes.
Perfect. Say it one more time.
Cannabetter Consulting.
Thank you so much, Jessica Edwards. And you're also an advocate, so this person who stands up and shows up at government events and even on Facebook, and I really value you, so I want to thank you for coming all the way in today
Thank you.
and all the work that you do. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Let's give it for Jessica.
Yes, you came from a long way.
And obviously Judy and Chief, we applaud them every time they come in. But also we have over here from Big Ed and the other Ed. We got to bring the other Ed.
Big Ed and Little Ed.
Because I didn't know Little Ed. Is he back there? Is he still here?
I'm still here.
Does he want to come say something?
I don't know.
Does he speak? Is
He'll just embarrass himself.
He is?
He's a
Okay.
silent partner.
If you don't hear I speak, I'll be making fun of Ed. So.
Oh, he's going to make fun of you.
We won't
Hey.
get into the controversy there. You know.
All right. RiverRun Gardens up in Newburyport. You have a website, Facebook page?
We
yet?
do. It's www.riverrungardens.com. Facebook, you can hit me up at Ed D'Souza or River Run Gardens.
And we're going to expect you to open pretty damn soon. Hopefully, you said August, maybe?
Well, we're shooting for August. I mean, we're looking at right now probably first crop hitting around November, December, depending on when we actually get our licensing. But we're aiming for August for operation.
Growing cannabis.
Growing cannabis.
And in Newburyport, Massachusetts.
In Newburyport, Massachusetts.
Licensed, regulated by the town of City of Newburyport, as well as the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission, the state of Mass.
That's correct.
and also providing jobs, hiring people, hopefully.
We're going to be doing everything. I mean, we have, aside from our 3% that goes to the town, we're also dedicating funds for the opioid crisis, veterans outreach, for neighborhoods of disproportionately impacted. We're as philanthropic as we are business.
Beautiful.
And one last bit, because you got something that a lot of people haven't gotten to, which a lot of people want, which is to get the next steps going to get licensed in the state for cannabis. These licenses are starting to roll out. The process you've gotten where some people haven't gotten yet, which is this the agreement from the town so far. Not the full agreement, but the non-opposition.
Sure.
So you're along the path. Is there any advice you have? Because you're someone that doesn't have $1 million, and you seem to be progressing on the right path. Well, and there are a lot of other people trying in a similar situation. Any advice you can give them on this?
Absolutely. And if you don't mind this shameless plug, I mean, I was fortunate enough to be selected as a speaker to CannaCon coming up in Boston this summer. And one of my presentations is going to be how you can get into the cannabis industry without having to have $1 million.
Nice.
I mean, my first impression of this industry when I first started out was, unless you have $5 to $10 million, walk away. At AnyCan, the same type of presentation. It was a small business presentation. It said the same thing: $5 to $10 million, walk away. My model here is for anybody that's interested in listening: find out what you do best. Find out what you can produce for revenue. Find out what it's going to cost to hire people if you want to hire people, and stick to that. Don't be greedy. Keep it in the community. Let's all band together and make sure these conglomerates leave our community alone, and we keep the love.
Sounds good.
Yes.
What do you think people might find your cannabis when it's grown? Like, are you going to be selling it retail at Newburyport or another dispensary?
We don't deal with the public. We're going to be wholesalers. So, there's a number of clients that we're talking to right now. They're going to be opening up dispensaries. And I have to say, we're actually entertaining calls from some of the RMDs. So if you have the drive to make it work, they're out there. They're going to listen to you. They are realizing that the community is pushing to keep this a tight-knit group, and that, yes, we'll allow you to operate, but, hey, I want to see my buddy in there. If you don't mind me saying, I want to shout out to Beantown, Greentown, too, because they're right in it with us. Keith's a good friend of mine, and he's going through the same thing. It's grassroots movement. It's, we're wearing all the hats. We don't have the money to hire the professionals. We're lucky enough to find lawyers that aren't going to be gauging us for more than what we can afford to pay them. But ultimately, the activism and keeping it close-knit to the community is what we're all about.
Have you looked at the Sierra Accelerator program yet?
It's funny you say that, because I was down the Cape at the Cape Cod Cannabis Coalition meeting this past Monday, and Sarah was down there, and they had introduced the first candidate for their accelerator program.
Who is that? Do you know?
You know what? I can't say. I don't want to mislabel who it is, but we need more programs like this. If you are a corporation like Netta or some of the bigger ones that have been around for a while, we allowed you to operate in Massachusetts. We gave you our money. We gave you our good faith. Now you should go ahead and take somebody from Roxbury, from Mattapan, and say, you know what? You spent some time, or you have coming out of the shadows. Let me help you, guide you to what you need to do to be successful in this business, because that's going to create more local jobs, and it's going to help ease the disparity of people that are in this cannabis industry.
Now, is some of your cannabis going to be craft cannabis, like top grade? Is that
all right? So we don't do anything. We don't sell Reggie.
Nice.
No mids.
Well, you know what? We're always going to sell mids, because
I'm always going to say
mids is relevant.
Mids is okay.
But here's my thing, right?
I like mids.
So this is where Big Ed would go ahead and embarrass himself. We have an argument, presentation-wise. Do you trim for beauty, or do you leave your sugar leaf on there and enjoy a bud?
I would rather just enjoy it all. I like to. If I'm buying it, though, I might want the look. I'm superficial, but if it's mine, I'll probably let's smoke it all.
Right?
It's funny. So we're very excited. It's going to be good to see. I'm rooting for you. I hope you do really well up in Newburyport, Ed.
Thank you.
And we'll give you a round of applause, too, as well.
None needed.
Good luck with that. We love our local growers.
That's right.
We do.
That's right.
And, and we're going to be eventually in competition with people. But I look at competition as anything over 10,000 square feet. Anybody on a tier 1, tier 2, they're family. and we're going to help each other as much as we possibly can.
And that will just improve the quality, yes?
Oh, absolutely. Because you know what? I got good genetics. If you need good genetics, I'm going to get you good genetics.
Speaking of which, the last question, I'm glad you brought that back up. You brought a couple, like, just gifts, little joint samples that we can taste, like of some of, different tastes maybe that are kicking around. Are some of these things, are you allowed to work on any of this stuff yet? Or is this just like for, like,
I'm a patient.
Yeah, you're a patient, yeah.
So I'm allowed to have
You're just
my
sharing it with
plants.
us.
Absolutely.
But you're not, are you, like, that's what I'm wondering, like, how does someone, because there's probably what you can say and what you can't say, but are you able to start preparing, like, the genetics and that kind of stuff? And
in our business plan.
Yeah.
Everything's in a business plan, so everything's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is, because we've vested so much money and time into this business, that we're the letter of the law. I mean, every I is dotted.
I mean, there's so
every
much
T
money
is
and just to get to the where you're at.
Well, we're make or break. I mean, we're literally make or break. I mean, this is, we say that anybody can do it, but there is real risk.
Yeah, you have to be careful, too.
I mean, if all of a sudden we put out a product and we don't deliver, there goes the business. If we
Up in smoke.
Absolutely.
Down the
literally.
drain.
So those campouts in the front of the State House will literally be me living in front of the State House.
Oh, boy. Perfect. Well, I thank you again for coming in, Ed. Congratulations.
Anytime, man.
And we look forward to hearing more. We want to hear more updates. We want to definitely have you back on when it's totally open and going. And
yeah, and we're willing to help anybody that wants a venture.
Perfect.
Anyone. And we don't charge. It's pro bono.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We love Ed.
Yes, we do.
Hey, I love you guys.
RiverRun Gardens.
Yes.
Check it out.
Yes.
We're the Young Jerks. You can like us too on Facebook if you haven't. Subscribe to us on our Facebook page, our videos. We're also on podcasts like Apple's, iTunes, you name it, we're there. Like, there's so many, I don't even know, like, apps now to listen to podcasts. All you got to do is search for the Young Jerks. We're there. What are some of the other ones?
Not the Young Turks.
No, we're not the Young Turks. We're the Young Jerks.
Yes,
with a J.
with a J.
And we're everywhere. We're like on Stitcher and TuneIn and Google Play and iHeartRadio.
You're the
and
nice jink.
And all the other ones. Yeah, we're everywhere. So find us, subscribe, like, follow, whatever. Share it with your friends. Also, if you really want to support us, patreon.com/theyoungjerks with a J, Jurks. Give us a little money to keep the show on the upswing. $4.20 goes a long way. Helps us promote, advertise, buy T-shirts, really improve our game, which we're starting to do. We're going to do a lot more this year.
Good.
Every dollar helps, so we really love you guys for supporting us. My name is Mike Crawford. Again, I want to thank all of our guests, all our callers. This week we had Donna calling, Donna Hackett, medical pioneer from Rhode Island.
Cancer survivor.
Warrior.
Warrior.
Who was busted in Massachusetts. He now lives in Rhode Island. I believe in Matt. Yeah. Actually, I need to check my facts. I should know that. But Donna was definitely busted, and she survived and won. So awesome to have her. We had another call, too. Who was the other one?
Cheryl.
Oh, Cheryl.
We love Cheryl.
Registered nurse Cheryl.
Yes.
So
Wait, do we know who's on next week?
we're not sure. We're going to need to check on something real quick. But, well, it'll be a big... We didn't announce anyone this week, and it was a huge show. So, there's always going to be... There will be a show next week. 6 p.m. next Saturday night. Be here. WEMF Radio, again, our biggest sponsor. I want to thank them first and foremost. I want to thank Tom for running the show. I want to thank Brian for the studio, running the whole studio here.
Don't forget the EMF thing next weekend.
Oh, yes. There's a protest next weekend, next Saturday, for the old EMF building in Harvard Square.
And
We've
they're
been talking about
scared
it.
out of their minds about it.
And it's called Occupy the Harvard Square Festival or something like that.
Harvard Square.
And it's going to be epic. And Brian Ritchie, you might be there.
Yeah,
right?
I'll be there.
You're going to try to record some video and audio?
Yeah.
We definitely
I'll
recommend
get arrested.
Men, you go down to Harvard Square next Saturday before the show. Around, I think it's between 12 and 6. But, go midday. Check it out. Take some pictures. Take some video. There's going to be artists standing up against the developer who basically bought our building and kicked us out.
Yeah.
And kicked out 200-plus artists and is all about gentrification. And he's got a festival. He runs the Harvard Square Business Association. He's the president. And he's running a festival and not paying any of the artists that are performing.
Wow.
While he bought their building and kicked them out. So they're protesting. We support it.
Yes.
The creative people need to speak up and show up. next Saturday down there.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Richio. You got no demerits today. You're doing good so far.
It's because I'm straight.
We need to fix that.
Wow.
right.
Wow, this is reversed
See,
the way it should be, though.
All right, okay.
You should have been out of control
Well, next
today.
week I'll be very medicated. Don't worry.
All right. But then you'll be a problem. Wow, this is reversed the way it should be.
Yeah, well, you know.
I want to shout out to my sister who is visiting from New York and listening to the Young Jerks. Evie, thanks for listening.
Thank you, Evie, for listening. We like it. Yeah, and she's from New York?
Yeah, she's from New York visiting.
Is she like Boston?
She likes Boston. She grew up here.
Oh, awesome. So welcome home, too, in a way,
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Welcome back home,
Welcome back home,
Evie.
Evie.
Well, we're the Young Jerks. We're over time. Well, we're not. We have as much time as we want, but we need to go. This has been no break. We just went right through with all our guests, and
We all
just
need
for
our
you.
medicine.
Yeah, we need medicine. We need drinks. We need bathroom
straight,
breaks.
all right?
And we need we have lots of medicine to get to. So we'll see you next week, next Saturday.
Yes.
6
Tune
p.m.
in.
Same time.
Same time.
See you then, people.
Peace out.
Do you need a medical marijuana recommendation like I did? Do what I did.